Amid the impressive successes of the Russian army in the Pokrovsk and Kursk directions of the front, many military experts and war correspondents almost completely forgot to supply their audience with valuable information from the Chasiv Yar direction of the front. At the same time, it is worth noting that over the past 48 hours, the Russian army has also achieved impressive successes in Chasiv Yar. So, after Russian troops broke through the Ukrainian army's defenses along the Seversky-Donetsk-Donbass water channel, the Russian army's offensive began to gain momentum in Chasiv Yar. A few hours ago, a representative of the press service of the 24th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Ivan Petrichuk, officially recognized the Russian army's successes in Chasiv Yar. In particular, he said that Russian troops were able to break through the Ukrainian army's defenses along the Seversky-Donetsk-Donbass water channel and gain a foothold in the Oktyabrski and Novyi microdistricts. At the same time, during a conversation with journalists, this Ukrainian officer tried to justify the failures of the Ukrainian army. In particular, he said that Russian troops managed to break through the defenses of the Ukrainian army in Chasiv Yar due to bad weather conditions. According to him, heavy rains have been falling in Chasiv Yar for several days, as a result of which the Ukrainian army has lost the opportunity to use reconnaissance and FPV drones. The plight of the Ukrainian army in Chasiv Yar was also confirmed by numerous Ukrainian telegram channels. In particular, the influential Ukrainian telegram channel Resident, citing its own sources in the Ukrainian General Staff, said that the Ukrainian army units had fled from the Oktyabrski and Novyi microdistricts. It is reported that as of October 25, Russian troops control 60% of the territory of these microdistricts, while the rest part of the territory has moved into the so-called gray zone. At the moment, Russian troops are clearing the liberated territories. According to available information, Ukrainian soldiers and foreign mercenaries are still hiding in some basements and houses in the Oktyabrski and Novyi microdistricts. This information was also confirmed by the well-known military journalist and expert Yuri Podolyaka. In particular, he said that the Russian army, albeit slowly, but moving forward daily in Chasiv Yar. At the same time, Yuri Podolyaka praised the fighters of the 98th Airborne Division. According to him, it was thanks to these tough guys that the Russian army managed to take control of the ruins of the Oktyabrski and Novyi microdistricts. The expert also added that at the moment, the Ukrainian army units are rapidly retreating to the center of Chasiv Yar and to the forest belt, adjacent to the city, where powerful bunkers and a network of extensive trenches are located. It is reported that as of October 25, 2024, the Russian army controls 40% of the territory of Chasiv Yar. Against this backdrop, it is also worth paying attention to yesterday's statement by the commander of Spetsnaz Akhmat, General Abdialatdinov. In particular, this Russian general said that November of this year would be decisive and the most effective for the current special military operation. Abdialatdinov noted that in November of this year, the Russian army will achieve serious victories in all directions of the front, as a result of which the final point in this special military operation will be put. The defense of the Ukrainian army is bursting at the seams in all directions of the front. Every day, our valiant soldiers liberate more and more territories and settlements. Remember, this November the Russian army will achieve serious victories on the battlefield. This November will put the final point in this special military operation, General Abdialatdinov said. By the way, a few hours ago, the Ukrainian General Staff finally recognized the loss of control over the settlements at the junction of the Koronevsky and Sudzansky districts of the Kursk region. In particular, the Ukrainian High Military Command recognized the loss of Zabalovka, Durovka, Vetrino, and Algovka. According to war correspondents, on October 24, Russian troops also completed the clearing of both banks of the Krepna River, at the junction of Koronevsky and Sudzansky districts. At the same time, Russian troops advanced 10 kilometers southwest of the settlement of Deriino, towards the so-called Basovsky Ledge, which is located on the border of the Sumy region. All this indicates that the Ukrainian army is rapidly losing control over the section of the border between the Kursk and Sumy regions. Looking at this fresh map, you can see that the Russian High Military Command is creating a large cauldron for the Ukrainian army units located in the central and northwestern parts of the Sudzansky and Koronevsky districts. At the same time, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, General Alexander Syrsky, regardless of huge losses in manpower and equipment, continues to send the remaining units of the Ukrainian army to the Kursk region. All this indicates that the Kiev regime, led by Vladimir Zelensky, has put everything on the line. Meanwhile, the coordinator of the Russian underground in Ukraine, Sergei Lebedev, said that on October 24, 2024, Ukrainian partisans inflicted another damage on the Ukrainian army and NATO forces. This time, Ukrainian partisans blew up a well-guarded railway track between Kherson and Nikolaev. According to Sergei Lebedev, as a result of this sabotage, the NATO leadership lost the opportunity to supply the Ukrainian army units and NATO forces in the Zaporizhzhia and Kherson directions of the front with everything necessary. It is noteworthy that this NATO logistics hub was considered one of the most protected due to its importance. How the Ukrainian partisans managed to damage it remains a mystery. It is reported that it will take weeks to restore this railway track. The coordinator of the Russian underground said that over the past 30 days, the activity of Ukrainian partisans has increased dramatically in the southern, central, northern, and eastern parts of Ukraine. At the same time, he noted that the Ukrainian authorities carefully conceal the activity of Ukrainian partisans, who are fighting against the Ukrainian army and NATO forces. The Ukrainian authorities also hide from the public the fact that citizens of Odessa, Kharkiv, Chernihiv, and Sumy regions constantly inform the Russian military of the exact coordinates of military facilities of the Ukrainian army and NATO forces, for their subsequent destruction.